Okay, as you can see, the title of this presentation is Silver is Undervalued, and I'd like to establish that one more time. As I think around a year ago, I did another video. I'll link it below in the description, where I actually got 1,280 ounces of silver out and had it on a counter, and I was kind of staring up at the camera, making excuses for the odd way I was filming. You can watch that video and check it out if you feel like, but this is kind of a reiteration of the same thing with some actual statistics on screen so you can read and see what I'm driving at here. So 1,280 ounces of silver in 1980 at the peak would buy a median family home. So interesting. Now, 1,280 ounces at today's spot price, $47.68, would be $61,030.40. And you tell me where in Ontario, Canada, that you could buy a home for $61,030. You'd be lucky to buy a little cube of land to put a house on for $61,000. The average building lot's probably about $400,000 to $500,000 right now. So this is fantasy land. So what does this tell us? Well, let's go further. So a median family home in Ontario today, now I know we're in a housing bubble and it's a little skewed, but today is $737,000. It's a pretty big number for an average median family home, right? So let's go further. So $730,000 divided by today's spot price of $47.68, which is a pretty high spot price. It's like pretty close to all-time highs in recent years. I mean, it isn't at 50 yet, 50 US, but it's getting there. Then it would take 15,474 ounces of today's price silver to buy that home. So what you can see here is that if it took 1,280, right? If all values are relative, which I say all the time, you'll hear me if you go back through my videos chirping about that constantly. All values or all prices are relative, right? If you take those numbers and you go back, you'll see that 1,280 ounces of silver, well, obviously those individual ounces had a lot more value if they could buy a median family home, because this is what it's really all about. It's another thing I say is that you can't price in dollars and know where you are in terms of value, because dollars are a temporary measurement. They're great to use as a comparative yardstick, but they don't really tell you the whole story. And this is kind of an important reiteration is that. So check it out this way. So you have 737,000 divided by the 1,280 ounces it would have been back in 1980 would be a spot price, would reflect a spot price of $575.78, $575.78. So you might have been out there and listened to other guys talk about, like I remember Cliff High, for example, if you know who Cliff High is. He kind of did his own calculation. Now, he didn't show his numbers of how he did the calculation, but his end result was he thought fair value for silver right now was $600. That's pretty close to right here. So maybe he came up with a different way of coming to the same conclusion, measuring different things other than a median family home, maybe stock indices or some sort of other benchmark that allowed him to do the division and the math the same way to come to the same $600 number. But I've heard several other people come to that $600 number. So, you know, typically markets, when they're undervalued or overvalued, return to the mean or what they call equilibrium or fair value. And so obviously we're in a real deficit here. And not only do markets tend to come back to fair value, they tend to actually overshoot fair value, right? They rarely do they go like too high and then not come back and shoot under fair value for a while. And conversely, they do the opposite when they go over fair value. So this could be very interesting dynamic. So those of you that are looking at silver saying, darn, I missed the boat, you know, it's gone up a lot. And like I hear this quite a bit recently because it's gone up. It's had quite a leg up in the recent days, and people get kind of, defeated and I should have bought earlier. Well, we should always be buying earlier. I mean, I always say the best time to buy silver was 30 years ago. But you know what? The next best time to buy is today, because you got a 30-year journey going forward. And who knows if we're going to be looking back on today 30 years hence and saying the same thing. And we probably will. This is the nature of the way measuring in dollars is. Prices and valuations always tend to go up over time. So don't let it get you down that the price has gone up recently. I still think it's a great buying opportunity. It's still low, folks. We haven't even hit the all-time high numerically, and like adjusted for inflation, we're not even close to the all-time high of silver. So I think we got a long way to go in this market. Anyway, thanks for listening. Have a great day. Check out that other video in the description for the original. Have a great day, folks.